Peace, my family, and we're back to all the woke ones out there, and those coming out of that good cocoon for the first time. Welcome. This is your girl, the butterfly, and we about to take off. Let's fly. I just want to send you all that good healing energy your way, and hope you all are out there keeping your mind right. And that good not mind, which means getting your mind right. I came on here today to express. When you're going through that good journey within, I just wanted to share some of my experiences while going through the journey in the beginning, because I know this could help someone else. When you begin to start to want to face yourself, you have to be in a state where you're ready to face, all of yourself. In a sense, sometimes it might feel you're in a state of you're tired. In a state of also feeling like maybe things are not working out for you. And you're wondering why. In question mode, in sorrow mode, very sad emotions. Sometimes, some people could be happy. Either way, for me, I was in a sorrow state. And ultimately, trying to find my way. And ultimately questioning my purpose here. It got down to that. You know how, again, I know I explained this before. As a child, you're always questioning your purpose and figuring out, at least trying to figure out what do you want to do here. Career goals, things that, you felt the need to want to have to do, to sustain yourself in this world and, take care of yourself. All of that was something that was going through your mind as a child on to adolescence and, reaching adulthood. Ultimately, that part right there is where it all began. Because when you get introduced to this world and the ways of this world, sometimes you get lost going along with, first of all, the people you come across as a child, even family members, people that you come across just in general in your life, can sometimes be very traumatic experiences that happen. And I hate to say this sometimes, and some people have loving experiences, but I will say, walking into, in a sense, what I like to call it, in your home is like a garden. Like the garden of Eden, like, the garden where, you're told, to do and live your life a certain way from your parents, and they're just keeping you away from all of these things that are not good for you. And that's a beautiful thing, not realizing that, you didn't know that it was that serious per se. Because ultimately going to church and listening to a motivational message every Sunday, you're picking up on the scriptures and you understand that, yes, there is a God. You understand that He has a Son, which is our Savior, Jesus, Yahshua, Temmuz, Horus. And again, He's the way, the truth, and the light. So ultimately understanding that all of that is still a part of it all. I just want to remind people of that. And ultimately, it just gets down to a point where influences are very big along your path. People, along your path can either having you going through that childhood trauma or having you in a good space. Either way, for me, childhood trauma is real. And ultimately, going through that and experiencing things in life that wasn't really all that great, getting to a point where, you're a loving being and realizing this world is not quite that way, in a way. It's some loving parts, it's balance. It's some loving parts, and then there's not. There's hate and fear and, a lot of things that happen in the world. But again, not knowing that, it's what you focus on. That girls at the time didn't know that. So ultimately, you're just living life, trying to figure it out, right? And so you get influenced by people thinking that, oh, if you do certain things, this is what's going to make people like me. This is what's going to make people love me, trying to fit into the crowd per se, or, have a friend here or there, not realizing that you're building your plate up. And what do you mean? The plate of, bad deeds. And it's real, And ultimately, you understand this at church. They teach that at church. But ultimately, not realizing how real it is in this life, that this stuff is serious. It's just not a game. And so, by experiencing those experiences and going through life, realizing that everyone is not quite so loving all the time, just have good intentions is what I mean. Not out here to get you type of thing, really have kind intentions, looking out for people, sharing, caring, compassion, love, I've always been that way. But again, everyone's not that way. And then getting introduced to people that don't even know what that is quite, let's be for real. A lot of people, maybe even feel like I was told at some point that, love doesn't exist. Yeah, for you, it doesn't exist in your world, okay, because you don't even believe that it really does exist. Not even trying to use the word believe, but you don't even know that it does exist. So for you, yeah, it doesn't. But what I'm trying to say is, when you're going through life, and you may not have those type of experiences, you're just going through life on your own, winging it and learning on your own, realizing it's a reason why we're all here. You have a purpose, and as a collective, our purpose is to get back to the Most High. And the Most High has ways. And the question becomes, have you been living in His ways? Because people think that it's, I don't know. Yeah, you have free will, but like I said before, is it really free? At the same time. Because, yes, it's about making good decisions. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Something that is best for you. But of course, being tempted in this world by so many different things and distractions, it can be harder for you. But that's what that inner strength is. You have to build up within yourself to say no. To say no, I'm not doing certain things. And yes, you're going to have that good battle within. Especially if certain things you've been doing for a very long time. And some things you may actually like. And some things, I didn't hear people say, I like doing certain things. And that's why I do it. I didn't heard a lot of different explanations to people choosing to do what they choose to do. And again, that's your choice. But ultimately, when you start to figure out and start to question your purpose and why are you here, you start to get the bigger picture. And that's what it's about. When you start beginning to get the bigger picture, realizing that this is about you and its ways to these realms. And ultimately, like I say all the time, it's about getting outside of your own way. Because if you continue to keep going on the path thinking that you know everything, and we're always in a room to learn, forever the student, always learning, And you may feel like, you can't be told anything, or you can't trust people and what they say. Yeah, at a certain extent, that is true. At the same time, the Most High sends help. So don't get it twisted by thinking that it's all, gloom and doom and a dark place. It's also good and beautiful things happening, love on the other side. But to get out of that state and out of that mindset, you have to start stating your affirmations and moving on that with action by being that within. Realizing that it does exist. Love. Love does exist. And again, to move toward that love, you have to first begin to love that within yourself. That's the best way I'm going to describe it. You have to be love. You have to show love. You have to care for other people as well. Not just about yourself. And the world too, But ultimately, at the same time, you have to learn that it's levels to this. And when we're starting from the bottom and you're in that root chakra and working on that, grounding yourself and learning how to trust yourself and releasing the fears and understanding that in order to do that, you have to face your being. What do I mean? You have to face yourself. You have to take off the mask. You have to be who you are and what the Most High has created you to be. Period. So, whatever you came out the womb, the natural state of your being, that's what it is. No artificial added to you whatsoever. You don't have to put on anything to, It's just you at your natural state. And that's what people have to get back to. Your natural state. No weave, no wigs, no makeup. This is a process. And the reason why I say no makeup is when you're going through that self-journey or that self-journey of loving yourself, it requires you to love every part of yourself. This is internal. This is energy. And if you can't even accept what you look like in the mirror, flaws and all, or what people like to say are flaws, because you are beautiful the way you are. They're not necessarily flaws. You are beautiful. And again, in order to know that, you must walk in the essence of your being, the way the Most High has created you, and understand that that's a beautiful thing. Once you begin to start loving every part of yourself, the good, the bad, the ugly, loving every part of yourself, and knowing that the ugly and the bad, you can correct yourself and become better. And that's knowledge to this, to understand how to move in this realm and what to use things for. Because sometimes you do, you have to use other parts of yourself, other sides of yourself at certain times when it's called for. And that's only when it's called for at times, in a state of defending yourself is what I'm speaking on. But at the same time, it's all about love. And we have to learn how to move in it. But you have to be it at the same time. And that's going to require people to be themselves. And ultimately, I don't know if people are ready. Some people are. Congratulations. But for the people that are still questioning, don't know if they really want to do this, I'm trying to tell you. the grass is greener on the other side when you begin to accept who you are. You ready? To accept every part of your being. Are you ready? Are you ready to give back in obedience with the Most High? Are you ready to surrender to the Most High and give your life to the Most High? And cut out all that other stuff that people think, is so important. The worldly side of things, the material possessions. There's nothing wrong with having those things. It's when you, some reason, think that that's who you are. And that when it becomes a problem, and you start to think that that's who you are, that creates who you are just because you have those things. Knowing that you are priceless is what it really is. There's no value to be put on you. Once people realize that's game over. You are just enough, just the way you are. As far as how you were created. Now, we have different natures of ourselves. We have agreeable nature and we have a disagreeable nature. And ultimately to get up out this room, just to keep it real, you have to become agreeable again and conquer your disagreeable part of your being. And it does not mean, like I said, you can't defend yourself. Because when you're in harm's way, you can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm speaking on being loving, having loving intentions, caring for people, loving, showing compassion, giving back. All the good things that people, I don't know if people tend to forget. I know it's out there, but it's not really on the mainstream. They like to promote, bad news, and they never have good stories, good news, things that people are doing good around this world. So much focused on the negativity and the bad news. Just to let you know, it's good news too. And good is happening here on the world, in the world as well. And we must understand that that's what we need to move back to. Becoming good again. Being better. Challenging yourself and getting on to your strengths and working on your weaknesses and, getting yourself back in order with, you already know what your weaknesses are, and certain things, if you don't know, then you have to examine yourself. Certain things that you need to work on within yourself that's stopping you from getting to the next level. Those are your weaknesses. That fear that comes up and you're like, I don't know. That right there, that means you need to do it. That means you need to work on it. That's what you need to do. For people that feel like, I don't know what I need to be doing. That's what you need to be doing. That's how you work on yourself. You have to conquer your fears. This question becomes, why are you fearing? Because almost definitely we have been programmed with fear. So that's another reason why, a lot of people are fearing. But we have to learn to move with love and not fear, because that's the trap. And again, it starts again with loving every part of your being. And whatever state you're in. And if you want to get out, trust me, you can get out. Because if it's in your mind to think, I want to get out, you can. You just got to start feeding yourself the good soul food. Really feeding yourself the good soul food, because you're going to need the strength, you're going to need the food to fill you up. And once you get fed, oh man, once your mind gets right, your body will follow. And you won't have to try so hard. You'll already be on it, trying to get it done. It's nothing to it but just to do it. It's all about action. To get to the next level, you have to put in action. It's not enough to just think about it so much. You have to start moving, putting it to action. Stop purchasing things that's not good for you. And one of the ways I like to, remove bad habits, and this is what works for me, so I just thought I'd share. Everybody is different on how they work on their stuff. But for me, how I do it is I continue to keep purchasing it, right? Until you get sick of it. Like, feed yourself enough to where you don't want no more, right? Eat it enough to where you just don't want it anymore. And be done. That's how I do things. I have to get extremely tired. And the only way I get extremely tired is if I process it so much to where my soul and my spirit is like, we good. We don't want no more. And we have to learn how to say no to things that are not good for you. You have to learn that word. You have to learn that word, no. I'm good. You really do. And I know it's a work in progress. Everyone is a work in progress. And stuff, guess what? This don't happen overnight. Everybody's timing is different in their own personal journey. But at the same time, let me just state this as well. We really don't have a lot of time to waste. So whatever you know you need to do, you just go on and do it. Because it's about time for everyone to get in order. You have to get your life in order and clean it up. Stop playing around with your mind. Stop playing around with your spirit. Stop playing around with your soul and your body. Because your body want to be healthy too, right? It's a process. And everything is interconnected. So if you're moving right, you'll start feeling right and feeling better. And if you're feeling better, you're doing better. Feel me? And if you don't learn, you will repeat the class. And I don't know about you, but I want to pass the test. And we are all tested and continually being tested. Aren't you ready to pass the test and get to your highest potential and stop tripping over the same thing in broad daylight? Because everything's in front of you, all in your face. And people know this, but you have to gain self-control. You have to regain your discipline. It's very important on this journey. And sometimes that requires fasting. Fasting yourself away from certain things. Getting away from people that are doing things that you're trying to stop doing. It requires a cleansing of house. For sure. Everything is going to lead you up to where you need to be if you're doing what you need to be doing. And yes, it can be a lonely experience at times. But guess what? The loneliness should make you feel extremely fulfilled. Because guess what? This is that time to spend with yourself. So don't look at it as so-called loneliness. You're choosing to be alone so you can be able to hear what the Most High has to say to you. Solitude is beautiful. So you can be able to hear again. You hear enough of the outside world. It's time for you to get your inner hearing working again, so you can be able to hear when the time comes, or when you have certain signs and certain things that you need to know. Don't you want to be able to hear again? And it all requires you to work on yourself and do your best. And through time, your gifts will come. But it requires you to listen. Listen to who? Listen to the Most High and how He says we're supposed to be living our lives, because that's the best, right? And we gotta stop moving on the fact of thinking that as a people that we know it all. And we're gods and we know it all. We know nothing compared to the balanced universes. So we all are forever the student. We never know everything. We can always learn more. So, facing the real you could be simple for people or could be hard for others. But that it will be all on you. And yes, you will have these experiences where you're going to feel very uncomfortable. And let me just tell you, it's all because you're releasing. It's all because it's the withdrawals. Getting back to the real you and things that you're holding on to that you have no need for anymore. It's time to face the real you. Question: are you ready? If so, stay tuned. I'm going to continue to keep sharing my experiences, and I might go further into details about certain ones. But to let you know that the journey is real and things begin to become alive when you begin to listen to the Most High. So, I'm going to leave it at that and let you all know, be encouraged. The Most High is real. And know that you are loved beyond this world and beyond. I hope you all know that. And I'm going to leave it at that. Let's get to it. Peace.